Hello and welcome back. Welcome to my channel. This is Renegade Gamer. I got a confession here to make. I really enjoy the Trails of games here. However, one thing I never see anybody do, or hardly ever do on these games, is builds for any of the characters. And it's kind of annoying because sometimes these characters are labeled as one way and they may work in a better way. For instance, I have found a build for Machias here that has pretty much kept me through the entire game, which I'm going to show off in just a second. So anyway, I wanted to do a couple of videos here just showing off some builds because everybody usually knows the Laura strat, which is a great strat. Yuna is usually known as the queen of breaking and everything else. However, here's the thing. Machias here is interesting for a few reasons, and I'll get to it. I'll get to the specifics here. Now, down there at the bottom of Dreadbreaker, on his physical attack, you have power A+, and he is the only character besides. Well, actually, he's the only character in the entire game that has, if I remember right. Yeah, he's the only character in the entire game, with the exception of Estelle Bright, who has a double S on his break. Estelle has 3 S's. However, you can't mess with Estelle Bright at all. Her quartz are all fixed. But Machias, you can. This is extremely useful. However, to make full use of this character, you really need Yuna to either be in the back party or in your party somewhere, because her order is going to be very useful to you. Warhammer gives a break damage of 250%. Now I've done all the math here and I'll get into it in a second. So you have a double S for break damage. You have 250% order. So let's go to ornaments. So Minotaurus. Now Minotaurus has a huge delay on it, so when you use it, you're not going to get a move again for a while. However, Minotaurus also adds 60% more to break damage. So with the 250 you already got, that puts it up to 310. Scold at high HP increases your break damage up to 75%. So 310, 75, you're at 385%. Also, to explain this, high HP is talking about the cap of the HP you have on the character. Not like if you have 200,000 HP, if it's up that high, it's not going to matter unless it's close to 200,000. It's just however high HP you have on there. So if you got like 9,000 HP, if it's at 9,000 HP, the buff will kick in. That's what I'm getting at. Alright, anyway, so yeah, you got 75, so that's, I said 310, so 385. I put a Arachnid Gem on here, which has another 80, so 385, that's 465. Break damage, that's 60, that should be 485 and 60 is, let's see, 485 and 60 is 545, I believe. I'd add this for strength. Dominion will automatically, your first craft that you use, it does 100% more damage. So that's very useful here because you're not going to get a lot of attacks with Machias. Break damage for that another 20%. Mars Gem increases the strength. You can read it down there. And then break damage too, which has another 40%. So you add all the quartz up, and I did all this already. I got all this worked down. So the quartz that I all have right here adds an extra 335%, plus 250 from Yuna, which comes out to 585. So that's 585% more break damage that you're getting with the double S in break. That's not counting equipment. Now, if you are earlier in the game, because this is the final dungeon I'm in. If you're earlier in the game, I'll show you something in a second. Don't worry, I got you covered. For the final piece for when you're in the final dungeon here, when you're final area, these are the two pieces of equipment I recommend. You can go, you could use this one if you wish, but I chose this one because it has 100% accuracy, so I wouldn't miss. But you want the victory belt and the blast gloves. Now the thing is that this will add 200 more percentage to what I told you a second ago. So we had 585 with the quartz and Yuna's order. When you add the equipment on there, you end up with a 785% break damage. And I can tell you right now, because I've used this in the entire game, that this will almost chew through any enemy and boss's break gauge. If it doesn't do it, it'll take off a huge chunk of it. Now, if you're earlier in the game, there is a couple of things you can do here to help you out. Let's see, where are they? Rider gloves. So you can get you can get rider gloves when you first go to Parn. It's in the very beginning of the game. When you go there with Kurt, Yuna, and Altina. You can go to the vendor there and you can buy a couple of rider gloves. It's either in Parn or it's in the St. Arc. I can't remember which. But one of those areas actually sells the rider gloves. If I recall right. I hope I got the right area. Anyway, if you got the rider gloves, if you buy two of them, they'll add another 100 points to it. The Minotaurus quartz you can get, I believe, if my memory serves correct, you get that right after what's the chapter called? It's the you get that during the assault on the base, the assault on where you're getting Reen back. If I remember right, that's where you get Minotaurus. It's either that or right after it, or right before it. So it's one of those three. I can't remember exactly. Scold, if I recall right, comes equipped with Kurt or Yuna, so you get those pretty easily. The breaks are easy to get, real fast. Dominion, you can find in a chest, or you can make. Racket Gem, you can kill an enemy or get it. None of these things are really that hard to get, is what I'm getting at. You just take some time. But yeah, once you got him set up, even without the victory belt and the blast gloves, if you just have those, if you just have the rider gloves on him, he'll still do a ton of damage. You hook him up with Yuna, and she's available the entire game, pretty much. And right after you get Reen, he's available the entire game, pretty much. You hook these two characters in a party, they will demolish anybody's break bar. I don't care who they are. Area Rod, not Doobly, shoot, what's the two sisters? Her other two knights, Shirley, Cedric, Rufus Albrea. I don't care who it is. They will rip through their bars, and I'll prove it. This is a pretty high leveled enemy here. It ain't the hugest one, and it's got to have a warding over it, but it's still a pretty decent leveled one. And I mean, my levels are only 150. You can beat this game around 140. I'm only 11 levels higher.
Let's get started.
Unforgivable.
I'm just going to let them have their turns because I'm just waiting.
Leave it to me.
Alright, so we're going to use Warhammer.
Shatter! Warhammer!
Leave it to me.
And then we're going to use Dreadbreaker. This will do a ton of damage on them. Unfortunately, I don't think I can get all three of them, but I can get two of them. And I almost guarantee you this will put them in break status in one shot.
Lock fire away.
Okay, well, I got one of them. But let's see what the other one, how much break damage. See how little bitty tiny sliver of break damage it has left. And this one went completely in. I'm telling you that this will destroy the break gauge. So we're going to just going to scrap this because the whole point is just to show off the break damage that we get. And we're going to skip that.
Let's go.
And here you go.
Here I go.
And we'll do this.
Wide open.
And Laura can finish them off.
Wow. You were.
But yeah, I mean,
something
what
else
I'm telling you is that
out
if you use this, and I know it looks weird because a lot of people like to set Machias up as a pseudo caster, but he really isn't. He's more akin to this. This is something that he can specialize in, and he really does become a lot more useful within the game just because of this small. It's just a small thing, but I mean, just he obliterates break bars. But anyway, that's going to be the first build I'm going to throw at y'all. And I don't know if Hajimani, Kaseki, or Trails of Reverie, which by my account releases in 2 days. Today is July the 7th of 2023 for me, and the game comes out 2 days from now, July 9th. I don't know if this is still going to be a available viable build that you can still use. However, it is a way to play, and like I said, Machias will demolish any break bars you come across. So if it's still the same case in Hajimati, Reverie, great. You got a leg up. But anyway, I'm the Renegade Gamer. I plan on doing a few more builds. I'll try to do one for most of the characters if I got the time. There are better builds for some of the characters. This is the best build I've found with Machias. The other thing about Machias, before I leave, you still have burst drive, and this eats, if I remember right, it eats, I think 60, and burst drive I believe eats under 60. I might be wrong on the numbers there. But anyway, yeah, I'm the Renegade Gamer. If y'all found this useful, please tell me. You can like, you can subscribe if you want. I'm a big Trails fan. But like I said, I'm just annoyed because I never hardly see anybody do builds on this game, and these are great games, and I wish more people did builds. It's hard to find anything on Reddit or GameFAQs. I mean, GameFAQs has some. There is a good page on there, but nothing about what I just told you on the builds for Machias here. But anyway, I'm Renegade Gamer. I'm jabbering on. Y'all take it easy. I'll catch you later.